So do you remember the gap between the electrician strike and how it was remounted? There was a serious doubt about whether it was going to happen.
Absolutely, and our career was kind of in limbo.
There was the spitting image thing, wasn't there? Remember that? Because we had a really raw deal on spitting image.
And that all finished by now?
Well, it finished, but because we were expecting to be producers of spitting image. And then that didn't happen.
No, we got stabbed in the back of the head.
And it really kind of affected things because I think we could have maybe done more that summer.
Yeah, I mean, we were still working, but we were doing things like, I can't remember even.
There was Russ Abbott at one point.
We were doing Russ Abbott without credit, and a couple of
and
other
actually,
things.
I think didn't we also have to write some spitting image sketches because that was part of the deal. Our deal hadn't finished with them. We'd learned them.
Oh yeah,
that's what it was. We'd learned because what happened. Just let's talk about spitting image because I think it's quite an interesting one because when they do spitting image, it's always kind of we're airbrushed out of history.
We are slightly. In fact, they did a whole one where they didn't even talk to us.
No. And we've never really talked about it anywhere. And I just think it's quite an interesting one. We were practically the only writers not involved in that first series.
In the first 5 shows.
Five shows.
Everybody we knew on the circuit. I remember we went to see. We went round to John Lloyd's flat in Nine Elms in Vauxhall, and he showed the pilot to a whole bunch of us. Most of the working sketch writers on the circuit. That's right. And we all thought, bloody hell, it's amazing. It's
going to be great.
Amazing.
Right.
And you came away and you said, we're not going to do that. And I said, well, what you said was brilliant. And you said, there's nothing in it for us. We just,
we'll just be one of 1,000 writers.
1,000 writers and everyone will talk about the puppets.
Yeah.
And I said, you're right, of course. And so we were just about the only ones who hadn't signed up for it. So when it hit the skids and they were in trouble after 2 or 3 shows.
Huge amount of publicity all over the place. This great new satire show is going to be absolutely brilliant, and it was terrible. Didn't work. 5 shows. No one was watching it. And then the more we said no, the more they wanted us.
And there was a very strange sort of scenario where Tony Hendry, who was the script editor at the time, had arranged to see us for lunch. And at the same time, our agent was negotiating, unbeknownst to him, for us to replace him. And it was a very odd situation because we respected Tony Hendry a great deal.
Oh, he just done Spinal Tap as well.
Spinal Tap. And
awesome.
he's done
I remember him
Saturday
saying
Night
he'd done this movie, Spinal Tap. It's really good. To go, oh, really?
But we went to that lunch and he arrived all like a beetroot on his bike.
Yes.
And all he did was sort of take notes of our ideas. Right, all right, lads, maybe we'll give you a 5-minute commission or something. He said.
It was like, ooh, great.
Right, we've only turned that down 100 times. Thanks for lunch.
So we then got a call saying, do you want to be the new script editors? And you will have... And we went, no. There's nothing in it for us.
Yeah.
And then they came back and said, well, what do you want? And we went, we want carte blanche to make this thing work because it sucks. And then they said, okay. Now, in retrospect, I think this was John Blair, who was one of the producers. I don't think he told John Lloyd.
No, John Blair, the South African.
Yeah. I don't think he told
Inspiration for the song. I've never met a nice South African.
Yeah. John was a kind of hard-nosed businessman.
Yeah.
And John Lloyd was the more comedy creative guy.
Yeah.
And so I don't think John Lloyd ever knew this, that these two guys were coming in with carte blanche to change.
I'm pretty sure.
But that's what John Blair had given us, carte blanche. So we went off and because he used to have Hitler living next door to Maggie Thatcher.
They had I think they had maybe 20 puppets and they had about
Bob
7
Dylan.
of them were dead.
Yeah.
They had Bob
Macmillan.
Dylan, Macmillan, Queen Victoria. I mean,
Douglas Hume.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah, because that was their generation. Fluck and Law, that was their generation. Hendra, that was their generation. And these were iconic figures to them.
Yeah.
Whereas to us...
We didn't know who they were.
Queen Victoria, dear.
Queen Victoria. MacDonald. Is it MacDonald? Ramsay MacDonald? No, it's Harold Macmillan.
Harold Macmillan,
yeah.
And so when we went in and we said...
Wilson.
Yeah, Harold Wilson. Yeah, we want new puppets. And I think the first one we wanted was Steve Davis. And, of course, no one had heard of Steve Davis.
Yeah, we said we definitely want people who are alive. That was...
none of them were sports people, so they didn't know.
No.
And so they thought... And also their ambition was that, especially Fluck and Law wanted this really smart, so their credibility was still top. And they thought, oh my God, we're going down, a tabloid route, and this is absolutely horrible.
What would Lenin say?
Yes, what would Lenin say? We don't want to do this. And we went, guys, you ain't going to get 25 minutes of brilliant satire every week with Macmillan and Wilson and Hitler.
And anyway, no one would watch it.
No.
And
So-
we said that the idea is, do your satire, by all means have that.
Yeah.
But then have the things that people like.
And also at this point, Nick and Ian, Hislop and Newman couldn't get a sketch on. They kept writing quite head-on, angry. Like, you are fat, you are greasy, yes. You are, blah, blah. And
but punchy.
But they had a minefield of knowledge about. They knew who the politicians were, basically. We didn't.
Well, yeah.
So we got them in and said, "Here's the Prime Minister again," and they told us. And
what did she do?
And then, interesting. Margaret Thatcher. Right, okay. And she's right, okay. Yes. And then the four of us wrote the topical stuff mostly, didn't we?
Yeah, the beginning, yeah. I mean, basically, we still had, I think we had Guy Jenkins, we had Richard Curtis was kind of zinging.
And Ben Elton was in and out. But they kind of went away. Yeah.
I think they felt like...
we've done our bit for John because we like him, but now we're out of here because this sucks. Yeah.
And so, and then we were on the trail for writers we could actually still use because, as I said, we used just about everybody.
Yeah. So we did that, and then the show became successful, and we did 2 series, and then we said we're leaving, and they said, please don't leave, we'll let you be producers if you just hang around and do a bit more. So we said, okay then, because we want to go off and write this science fiction. Actually, we'd written the pilot. We wanted John to do the pilot project.
Yeah, they said they would do it. They would make the show.
Yeah. So we then did 2 more series of writing, less script editing. And then when we came to be producers, they went, actually, we've changed our mind. We don't think.
I remember the meeting now.
John Blair.
We were in John Blair's office.
NBC.
And, we'd written an NBC script, and they were basically saying we're not going to.
In a week, though. In a week,
yeah,
it was a tough, and they wanted Hislop and Newman to do the rewrite.
Yeah. But I remember it was the turning point in our relationship when we thought we were out, and John Blair had this stupid little musical American flag.
That's right.
That played the Star Spangled Banner every time you press the button, and I inadvertently kept on pressing the button.
You got cross there, didn't you? Which was unusual. You really got cross.
Yes, I got rather cross.
Yeah, because that wasn't something you did, generally.
No, I didn't.
Because it was just like, God's sakes, we've just finished the series. We've had a week to write this show. It needs a rewrite. We'll do it. Give us a couple more days.
Yeah.
Now we want to bring in Hislop and Newman.
Also, because it was very much in our ambition sort of scenario to do stuff for the States. We wanted to do stuff for the States.
So anyway, the outcome of that was that they didn't feel that we should be producers, but we still had, we were contracted to write 1 more series.
Yeah.
And so it was a difficult summer where we got...
Yeah, they made us do all kinds of horrible things. Like I remember producing some advert, which is the worst job in the world. It is because not only are you working with rubbish, you've got the client over your shoulder saying that rubbish isn't as good as the rubbish I want it to be.
Yes,
it's awful.
Very particular kind of rubbish.
Yes. No, this girl I know. Oh God.
Yeah.
It was awful.
And we also did the chicken song on Top of the Pops. Remember that? We produced that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was our first directing job. Yeah. Because Michael Hurl said, okay, you can direct it.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, we have no idea how to direct. You said, yes, we'll do it. And
I took you into a corner. That's very unlike me. That's usually the other way around in those situations.
I took you into the corner and said, what are you doing? It's Top of the Pops. We don't. What's a camera? You idiot. And so we had to write the camera script for him.
Oh, that's funny. Because I remember Billy Ocean complaining that the puppets were waving. Sorry.
No, right, okay.
Is there anything we need to do? We could finish our spitting image.
You just want to finish.
Oh, so rude, interrupting us. We had hardly got going. We'd only been talking about it for half an hour.
God, we could do it.
It's just an extra.
How about for the
Rob
Blu-ray?
and Doug talk about spitting image. 3 disc sets.